So I recently just got back from a 19 or 20 day tour in Europe.
Joshua Victoria.
With Sungazer, and I asked on my Instagram if anyone had any questions about the shows or about the tour or playing with Sungazer, and that I would answer them in this YouTube video. So I got some questions about the music and about tour life and gear, so we could talk about all that good guitar stuff. David Jeffrey 37 asks, how did I get the gig? I had played on a Sungazer song for their last album, Perihelion. I played on the title track, Perihelion. So Sean Crowder, the drummer for Sungazer, had reached out and asked if I wanted to collaborate on one of the songs. And of course I said yes, because I am a big fan of Sungazer. That all went great. The album was released and the song was released, and it was all a good time. It was really fun. And then maybe like a year later, maybe a little bit less, Sean and Adam reached out and asked if I wanted to play some shows with them. So we did this tour on the West Coast in October of last year, and we all had a great time, and it went really well. And so then they asked me to come back again for their tour in Europe. The Wesley Fox asks, number one best food experience from the whole trip. I had a lot of very good food. I think Berlin had especially good food. I got addicted to, there's like all these Donner shops on like every corner in Berlin. It's kind of crazy how many of them there are. And I was eating that almost every day because it was very good, and I don't have a lot of self-control. Ryan 9412 says, best crowd of the tour. Any chance of a Portraits tour over here? Best crowd of the tour is probably it was in Serbia, which was a really amazing experience. But everyone there was just so hyped, and it was also like Lufthansa had lost all our luggage, so we were all kind of like, I don't know, frustrated that whole day. And so it was really cool to get to the show, and then everyone's just like so excited and hyped. It was a really, really good time. Any chance of a Portraits tour? I would love to, and I know Joseph really wants to. So I think a couple things need to align, and then if the opportunity hits, we will be there. Ivory Riffs asks, favorite song to play. I really love playing the new Sungazer song, Against the Fall of Night. It's like this 11 tuplet that's very fast, and you get to play all these different versions of it, and it's just like, it's a ton of energy, and it's just a lot of fun. It's like complex enough to where it's very interesting to play, but then also like you can just vibe and have a really good time and not be too stressed out, at least for the guitar parts. Gatton STRH says, will you feature on their next album? Yeah, so I actually played guitar on the song Against the Fall of Night, and then there's a couple others that I played guitar on, but you'll have to wait for those. This is an interesting question. So Fletcher Bird asks, in tracks with crazy nested tuplets or hypertuplets, how is your click setup? i.e., what do you hear? Adam Neely recently just made a video on hypertuplets, so I would definitely recommend to go check that out if you have not already, which I'm assuming everyone here has already checked out that video. Hypertuplets are basically really dense tuplet numbers, so like, I don't know, I guess maybe anything past 9, so like 10, 11, all that kind of stuff, like 13 tuplet. There's a few songs that are hyper-tuplets, right? So it's kind of case by case and even section by section, depending what's in our ears. So like, for example, Against the Fall of Night is an 11 tuplet. If I remember correctly, sometimes it is clicking in the 11 tuplet, right? So it's like the da 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 da, so the 4-3-4 thing. Or sometimes it's just the quarter note, and then we're kind of just feeling the 11 tuplet ourselves. In something like their song Threshold, which is a 19 tuplet, in everyone's ears except for Sean Crowder, we are only hearing the accents of the 19 tuplet, but Sean is hearing every single tuplet. So that just makes it a little bit easier as a band. So we have two separate clicks happening. We have Sean's click and then we have the rest of the band's click. Yeah, so it's kind of different per song. We try to set up the click in a way that's the most helpful for us playing on stage. Pro Tourman asks, is there coffee in Europe? Yeah, there is a lot of coffee in Europe, and you would know because you were there with me. So here's a photo of Sean drinking coffee. But yeah, so I actually ended up using this app that Sean Crowder recommended to me, and it's called European Coffee Trip. And so I would just look at the app every day and go find different coffee shops and try them. And pretty much every time I went to a shop through that app, it was good. So that app kind of saved my life. Riley Milky Way. Experience traveling with gear, pedal, etc. Traveling with gear is a pain in the flying with a guitar and traveling in general with the amount of gear that we tour with is very annoying, especially like airlines do not want me to bring my guitar on the plane. So I try to every time bring it on. Sometimes they really don't want me to, and they don't let me sometimes. I've gotten where I stood there and argued with the person, and it's just like, nope, you have to check it. And so luckily on this Europe tour, I really didn't have to check it except for my flight back home. Every other time I was able to bring it on the plane. So I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'll never check my guitar, but I don't know how you're getting your guitar on. Are you just like punching the person in the face and then walking through? Like, you can't. Sometimes they just don't let you, and there's really nothing you can do. So you have to make sure that you have your guitar, the case that you bring your guitar in. If you check it, you know that it's going to be maybe okay. So I use all the mono bags, and I completely trust them as check luggage. So I don't know. None of my guitars are broken yet, so I guess I've been lucky. Oh, look, it's Jax says, which show was your favorite / most memorable? I think it was Serbia. Like, it was just such a fun, the show itself was so much fun. And then meeting everyone. And then we went to this amazing dinner and had all this Serbian food, which was like grilled meats and bread and all this very tasty food. But that show, I think, because that was also the only show that was not a festival. So everyone at that show was there specifically for Sungazer. So it was just like crazy energy, and everyone was super excited, including us. Flossie Khan asks, the hardest thing about it. I think for me, it's probably the airplane travel. It's just like really far. When we went to Europe, it's a long flight because I had to fly from LA to the East Coast, which took about 6 hours. And then from the East Coast into the Netherlands, which took, I think, like 7 or 8 hours. So, and all that's in a day, and it's just like by the end of it, I'm just dead, and then also got really bad jet lag. Personally, I think that's the hardest part about it. Individual sounds for every song or general presets. So the way that I do it is I first create a general preset that all the songs are going to be based around, which for this tour, it was like a matchless DC30 because I really love that sound. And then I copy and paste it for the whole set list. Change the tempo of each preset. So each preset is now its own song. Change the tempo to match the tempo of the song. And then I add any, like, maybe this song has like a chorus and then this song has like an octave pedal. So then I'll go in between and edit each one to fit that specific song. So it's like, I guess, a mix of both. I have like a general preset, and then I have a per song preset made from that general preset. Wagyub, it's a crazy name, says, do you have any particular thoughts that occupy your head before a show? I think before a show, I'm just ready to play at that point. As a band, we got to the venue like hours and hours and hours earlier. We had we set up, we had a sound check, and then we're just like hanging out for a few hours. And then by the time that the show is going to happen, I'm like ready to play. So I guess I'm just excited and ready to get up on stage and play some guitar. Josiah says, how long did it take for you to learn the parts for the tour? What helped is that I had already toured with them once for the October stuff. I think when I did it in October, it took me maybe like 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks or so. Maybe like 3 weeks. Let's say 3 weeks. And then for this tour, I prepped for maybe like a week and a half. And because there was only maybe like one song that was different, the rest of the music was kind of the same. So it was just like a refresher. And then I was ready to go back in. Yeah, so thanks for all the questions. And I hope to see you guys at a Sungazer show sometime. You can follow me on Instagram for the next time I do like Q&A stuff. It's at Josh Dela. And my website is joshuadelavictoria.com. Yeah. See you guys. Bye.